Hello, my beautiful people. What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Danae. I hope all is well. Welcome to Just Talk, my beautiful beings. Thank you to all the people who have been subscribing to the channel and following. I so greatly thank you and appreciate you for helping us to grow the channel here. I have a very specific word for someone. God just laid this on my spirit like right now. God, take whatever God gives you, you can take it to the bank. And it's a car alarm. Y'all probably can't hear that, but it's a car alarm going off as soon as I started this video. Wow. Confirmation that this is for someone. But whatever it is that God has told you, you can take it to the bank. And the way God just delivered this to me is from the perspective of things that are dead and things that are alive, right? If God has given you a word, that something that to us, the human eyes or whatever have you, is dead. Something appears to be dead to us, right? But God has already promised you that God is going to revive that thing. God is going to bring that thing back to life. God is going to breathe new life into that thing, whether it is a person, whether it is a business, whether it is a relationship, whatever it is. If a thing appears to be dead to us, right, of no return, like you feel like it can't be, nothing can happen, you feel like nothing is going to come good of it from here. If God has already promised you and told you that God is going to breathe new life into that thing, you can take that to the bank and cash that check, baby, because when God has already promised you and told you something, you can bet your last dollar, baby, that God is going to follow through with whatever promises God has told you, right? So if there is something in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it is a job or a business, whether it is health or well-being for you, whether it is a loved one of yours who may have been slowly deteriorating health-wise, right? Whatever it is, if God has already told you that that thing that appears to be dead to you, right, you've probably given up on it. If God has already promised you that that thing is going to come to pass, God is going to bring those things back to life for you, then you can take those things to the bank. And then you have the other side of it. There are some people who are holding on to certain relationships and experiences that God has already deaded. God has already put a pin in it. God has already stamped it and said that that relationship is done. That marriage is over. It's time for you to leave that job. It's time for you to leave that relationship. It's time for you to walk away from those friendships. It's time for you to say goodbye to that city, that state, that country. It's time for you to move on and move forward. Some of you may be holding on to these experiences because you feel like there's still a little life left in it, right? But it doesn't matter how much life we feel like is left in the thing, we human beings, right? Humanity, because once God has already deaded a thing, there is nothing that we can do to revive that thing or bring it back to life, right? Whatever little bit of life we think is left in it, it's not worth staying there. It's not worth keeping ourselves in that space, right? It's almost like we're breadcrumbing ourselves at that point, right? We're gaslighting ourselves at that point. We keep convincing ourselves that those relationships that God has already deaded are somehow going to come back to life, when God has already told us to walk away from those experiences. God has already told us to walk away from that job or whatever it is. And so whichever side of this experience you may sit on, trust God for what God has already told you. If God told you that God is going to revive that dead thing and bring it back to life, then trust God for it. Or if God has already told you that, those relationships are over, they're done, they're dead, even if it looks like it still has some life left in it or a slight chance left in it, if God has already put a pin in it, if God has already said it's over, if God has already said that it's done, then you can trust God for whatever God has already told you. I hope this message finds the person that it's for. Please, my beautiful beings, continue to help us grow the channel here at Just Talk. Like, share, and subscribe. And if this message is for you, comment below and let me know that this is your word. Peace and love, my beautiful beings. Deuces.